Pride, ego, and the roadblock to personal growth. Personal growth is the process of learning, adapting, and becoming a better version of ourselves. It requires honesty, humility, and a willingness to face uncomfortable truths. But there are two powerful obstacles that often stand in the way: pride and ego. While a healthy sense of self-worth can motivate us, unchecked pride and inflated ego can trap us in cycles of stagnation and missed opportunities. Understanding pride and ego. Pride in moderation can be a good thing. It's the satisfaction we feel when we accomplish something meaningful. But excessive pride is different. It's a distorted self-image that convinces us we're above learning, above correction, and sometimes even above the rules that apply to others. Ego, in the negative sense, is our inflated sense of importance. It craves validation and often resists change because change can feel like admitting weakness. A large ego seeks to protect itself, even at the cost of truth and growth. The illusion of already knowing. One of the biggest ways pride and ego hinder growth is by convincing us we already know enough. Whether in a career, a relationship, or a skill, believing we have nothing left to learn stops the learning process altogether. A person with an inflated ego might dismiss constructive criticism as ignorance, assuming they are the authority in the room. This mindset can cause missed opportunities for improvement and innovation. For example, in the workplace, someone who refuses feedback from colleagues or managers will likely remain stuck in the same role or make repeated mistakes. Growth requires acknowledging that we don't have all the answers. Fear of vulnerability. True personal growth often involves vulnerability, admitting we made a mistake, asking for help, or acknowledging areas where we are weak. Pride and ego, however, view vulnerability as a threat. They tell us that showing weakness will make others lose respect for us. This fear keeps people from taking risks or stepping into new challenges. They would rather stay in a comfortable but stagnant position than risk failure and growth. Unfortunately, this comfort zone becomes a cage, locking out new opportunities. Damaged relationships. Pride and ego also harm relationships, which are essential for personal growth. Friends, mentors, and colleagues often play a role in shaping us. But when we refuse to admit wrongdoing or always insist on being right, those relationships suffer. Over time, people may stop giving us feedback, stop offering advice, or distance themselves entirely. Without healthy relationships and outside perspectives, our personal development slows down dramatically. Ironically, in trying to maintain an image of strength, pride often leaves people isolated and weaker than before. Resisting change. Change is uncomfortable, but it is the foundation of growth. A healthy mind adapts to new information, adjusts course, and learns from mistakes. Pride and ego, however, resist change because change can mean admitting that our past approach was flawed. This resistance can cause us to hold on to bad habits, outdated ideas, or failing strategies simply to avoid admitting we were wrong. History is full of individuals, leaders, and even entire organizations that collapse because they refuse to adapt due to pride. Choosing humility. The antidote to pride and ego is humility, not thinking less of ourselves, but thinking of ourselves realistically. Humility allows us to accept feedback, acknowledge flaws, and embrace change as a natural part of life. It creates space for learning, fosters stronger relationships, and keeps us open to new opportunities. When we set aside pride and ego, we become more teachable, more approachable, and more capable of growth. We learn to celebrate progress instead of pretending to be perfect. Conclusion. Pride and ego are like walls we build around ourselves, thinking they will protect us. But in reality, they block the very light we need to grow. To truly develop, we must be willing to listen, adapt, and admit when we don't know everything. Humility doesn't weaken us, it strengthens us, opening the door to personal transformation and deeper success.